Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I am Tavish Cardiff. It is Aligning with Intention Week at our raw material. This is the 11th of the 12 pillars. And if you are unfamiliar with our raw material, please go back to YouTube, check out any of our intro videos, or stay right here and learn what you can about the Aligning with Intention pillar. Each one of these is its own relationship, so it doesn't really matter where you start, although people find themselves liking to start at the beginning. Aligning with intention is a great place to start because it puts us outside of our emotional intentions and into the business of manifesting the things that we want, which is kind of what we're all after right now, a little bit, right? So let's imagine ourselves for a second in the center of an ancient arena, equidistant around us, 12 different pillars, and we're going to pull this one specifically close to us, aligning with intention. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the intention pillar, and we established that our intentions are all very emotional. Not only are they emotional, there are so many of them that we collect in a day and that we want to work with in a day that we have several that don't get met. It's when we go back and judge ourselves for not meeting certain intentions that we find ourselves struggling with self-image or self-confidence or feeling like we should have done something that we didn't do. Aligning with intention, once we get into that space and ask for that pillar to show up, we start to see which things we want to do that are kind of easy to do, that we're set up to do, that we have the resources to do, or that we can easily pull together the resources to do. These are the things that are going to be the most simple to accomplish and also tend to fill our creativity and our passion. And they come naturally and easily because they're kind of intended for us. We have aligned with intentions that are set up to fit us. As we go through the week and think about aligning with our intentions, one of the coolest things that you'll get out of any, workshop or any kind of thing like this is to write down your intentions and then, as if they've already happened, and then put it away. Just like let it go and let the world bring it in for you. To take that just a little step further, do that, write it down. So that's such a great exercise. But also, beyond that, taking yourself to the space where you're imagining not only having it, but what it actually feels like to have it, what it is like to live with this thing that you want or this condition that you want, whatever it is. When we align with our intentions, if we make sure that we are aware that we're connected to something outside of ourselves, if we put ourselves in a position to not only be benefiting ourselves, but the larger whole of humanity, we find ourselves a lot more aligned with the things that we want. And aligning with intention is such a mental pursuit that it involves a mindset that that has us believing that we are good enough and can have the things that we want. And also, if we get a little too ahead of ourselves with our egos and we just think that we deserve things that we haven't really. I'm going to be careful here because I want to be intentional about my words. I don't want to say deserve because I don't think that's fair. I think that there is some amount of work that goes into manifesting, whether it is a certain thought pattern or some work that we've actually done or an exchange in the universe. There's something that brings the collective into helping us manifest. The biggest example that I can point to in my life, watching from the 1980s till now, watching Donald Trump's evolution as a person of intention. And whether you are a fan of his or not, what we have watched is the personification of the law of attraction. And he's coming up against that right now. He's not necessarily connected creatively and passionately to the whole of everyone, which I think why he is struggling a little bit to gain the ground that he was enjoying a few months ago. That being said, as we watch him, we see that he creates truth. He says things and makes them true. He understands at a deep level that if you say something enough, it becomes true because people start to believe it. And our beliefs have so much to do with what is true. So when we talk about aligning with intentions and our own mental state, let's use him as an actual positive example of getting what you want. Even if you don't like him, look at the quality that he has that's able to want something and achieve it. There's been nothing in his life that has shown him that he can't until he's actually running up against the laws of our country right now. And running up against people who are willing to bend them, break them, change them, make them interpreted in some other way for him. There's a lot of power in that. I'm not saying it's being used for good. I'm just saying there's a lot of power there. And I think it's important for each of us to notice how that power works. Yes, he started with some raw material that none of us have. No one, or not very many of us have. Very few of us are getting handed $1 million to go do something with. And I think if we were, we could all come up with something really cool, creative, passionate that we would want to do with that. Donald Trump came up in the 80s with these ideas where his own creativity and passion weren't part of the equation. Winning and getting ahead and things like that were. So when those are the intentions, it becomes a little harder to align and manifest the things that you want. And I think we're seeing that play out publicly in the universe right now. Again, no opinion on any of that, just creating awareness around what has evolved and happened over the past 40-some years. Enjoy this week aligning with your own intentions. Find your creativity, find your passion, be excited about the things that you finish, and let go of judging yourself or shaming yourself or feeling guilty for the things that you haven't. Next week, we will be back to talk about wholeness as we wrap up the summer session of our raw material and get ready for fall as the equinox approaches. Have a great week. Thank you.